So I would love to call you sometime. Do you have a card?
Of course.
Oh, great. Look forward to hearing from you, Gigi.
Oh, wait. Are you hearing from me or am I getting a call?
We'll talk. We'll get in touch.
Oh, oopsie. You did it again. Very vague. You know what? Let's just say that you'll call me and then we can skip all the nonsense.
Goodbye, Gigi.
He was cute.
Yeah, please don't cyberstalk him.
You don't ever feel like we're going against nature by not getting married?
No. Going against nature is like the cat who suckled that monkey. I'm married. I don't do this.
So we're friends.
Yeah.
You know, you may be the best friend I've ever had.
I think I figured it out.
He is not interested.
Call your voicemail.
Oh, Mary, Mary, Mary.
I was just calling to tell you again how special it was to meet you. Call me back.
Oh, Jenny, Jenny, Jenny.
I was just calling to... Well, what number did I just dial?
Oh, messages erased.
Okay, honestly, it's more of a comedy than a drama, but it's literally on Wikipedia saying a romantic comedy drama, which I guess they're kind of right about, but it's mostly a comedy, but a good comedy. It follows 9 people and their varying romantic problems. Gigi, a common thread among the characters, is followed more closely than the other 8 and has a more developed storyline as she consistently misreads all of her romantic partner's behaviors. She meets Alex, who helps her to interpret signs given to her by her dates. Gigi, of course, is played by Jennifer Goodwin. This was one of the early film roles I remember her being in. And what's the other one? Alex is played by Justin Long. And also you see Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Connelly, Kevin Connolly from Entourage, Bradley Cooper, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Christopherson's also in the movie, as is Sasha Alexander and Busy Phillips. A good cast overall here, and this was kind of the trend beginning to build here, because even though this isn't directed by Gary Marshall, the next year, New Line would have more success with the movie Valentine's Day, which kind of has the same similar setup here. It's basically an anthology story with several different people, an all-star cast in that film. But those films got weaker and weaker as they went on, and Valentine's Day isn't even that good of a movie to begin with, but this is actually a pretty solid film. He's Just Not That Into You is a film where you do follow the relationships in here very well. They do a very good job of making these characters likable. You buy into their chemistry overall. You buy into their situations. Everybody plays their part in this very well, and you have good people here who are working on it. Ken Kwapis, of course, is the director who has done some pretty good movies overall. Abby Cohn and Mark Silverstein are some pretty notable writers here. They are doing a pretty good job of handling all these stories together. And unlike the other movies, the other ensemble romantic comedies we're going to get to here, this is the one that doesn't insult its audience intelligence or tries to just go for a cheap laugh for the sake of a cheap laugh. This is one that they're actually trying, and they're actually very funny. Like, there's some good lines in that trailer. Like, I love that bit in the trailer where Drew Barrymore thinks that the guy that she is calling her to tell her that she's the one, and then he accidentally doesn't realize he's doing it again, but this time not to her. And it's just like her face when she just realizes that, and everyone's face around her was just like. That's a good scene. That's a good, real funny moment in the trailer. And there's a lot of that throughout the movie. Everybody in here is really, really good. And like I said, it's a movie that delivers a good, solid setup in general. And it's a very well-made film. Everyone in here is playing their parts very well. It's a really good, fun, romantic comedy. It's a film that works very well. And it's a really good movie. It's one you should definitely check out. If you want to see a good romantic comedy with a lot of notable names you're very familiar with, He's Just Not That Into You is definitely the one to check out. You'll definitely be into it, but even though he won't be that into you. But anyway, let's move on to the next movie we have here. Pretty much a game changer in terms of stop-motion animated films, and a really good one. This is Coraline.
Caroline Jones always dreamed of finding a better world, but never imagined it would be in her own home.
We've been waiting for you, Coraline.
A place so perfect.
I love your garden!
It can't be real.
You probably think this world is a dream come true, but you're wrong.
You're in terrible danger.
From the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
She's got this whole world where everything's better, but it's all a trap. How dare you disobey your mother? You aren't my mother.
Coraline, rated PG.
A game changer in general for so many reasons because, well, this is the first feature film produced by Leica Animation, who's been one of the more consistently good animated studios out there. I mean, these are the same people that would later do Paranorman, The Box Trolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, Missing Link, and yet they've been relatively quiet ever since Missing Link came out, and I'm wondering what's happening to them. I know they have another movie coming, but I don't know. It just feels weird that they're not making more movies than they were doing back then. I guess COVID's really holding them back, but based off of a novel by Neil Gaiman, you have the story of its eponymous character, played by Dakota Fanning, who discovers an idealized alternate universe behind a secret door in her new home, unaware that it contains something dark and sinister, which basically is an alternate version of her family, played by with the mother played by Terry Hatcher and the father played by John Hodgman. And as it turns out, the other mother is a creepy freak of nature who wants to basically take over the world. And not only that, but like she wants to do it in the darkest, sickest way possible, but in a good way. Like, this movie is not afraid to go for the dark territory. I mean, it literally is an intense, dark movie, and I say that with the best of intentions because this is a great movie. I mean, this is a film this is what PG used to be like back in the day, back in the 1980s, back in the early 90s. Like, this was a movie that deserves its PG rating. It's not like My Little Pony the movie PG, because we can't make it G, because G will make us think that we're too cheap and too sad. It's like, basically what I'm trying to say is that the G rating has basically become dormant for no particular reason. This is a movie that's 80s PG. Like, this is like Wild Robot territory in terms of the limits they will go, the extreme limits that they were willing to surpass to make this movie entertaining. And not only that, it's a beautiful looking movie. The stop motion animation here is so well done. Like, you could tell they're trying something new with stop motion animated films in general. And of course, you got a director like Henry Selick, who previously worked on Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach. And what Leica Studios has been notable for doing is that it helps to speed the process of the stop motion animation along without really feeling like they're just speeding it along so they can make a cheap product out of it. It doesn't feel like way at all. And as we'll see with their later movies, they would get better and better and better with every passing film. I mean, Kubo and the Two Strings, I think, is still their best movie in general. And I really love this studio ever since it came out. And like I said, I'm waiting to find out when that next movie is coming. But this is a great introduction. It's a film that can be very terrifying. I mean, yeah, younger kids should not be watching this movie. Older kids, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 or older, they're gonna get a lot of enjoyment out of this movie. This is a film that is so gorgeously dark and sinister to look at. The animation is top notch. The voice acting is incredible. I mean, Terry Hatcher is the mother in this. Like, she is very intimidating and very, very scary at times in this. Like I love how dark this thing can go, and it's a really damn good movie. And really, I don't have much more to say about this. This is a great film. Coraline, if you have not seen it already, do yourself a favor and watch this movie, man. You are doing yourself a major, major disservice by missing out on this one. This is a great, great film. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is Steve Martin returning as Inspector Clouseau in The Pink Panther 2.
Excuse me. Yes, I would like a ticket for a Wally.
Sorry, we're sold out.
I would like a ticket for Wally.
There are no more tickets available.
Hey, mister, hurry up.
I am Inspector Jean Clouseau of the French police. One little ticket.
I don't care who you are. There are no more tickets available.
Well then, I'll just go back home.
That's actually a trailer. I don't really need to tell you where that is from. That's the trailer that they showed in front of Wall-E. Now, if I remember right, they actually did several different versions of that trailer where Clouseau would go to these different movies coming out in the summertime. There was one where he go like, I would like a ticket for Kung Fu Panda, and supposedly there was one where he did, I want a ticket for Indiana Jones. Even though I've never seen the Indiana Jones one, I know that there was one for Kung Fu Panda that's nowhere to be found. In fact, that one I just showed you just came online within the last couple of weeks, so I was able to find that one fairly recently. But this is the Pink Panther 2, the 11th installment of the Pink Panther series, and the second one featuring Steve Martin in the movie. It starts off with Clouseau as a parking ticket guard and is then picked up to join a series of famous detectives to solve a case involving a criminal mastermind called the Tornado, who is stealing several of the world's most famous artifacts, including the Pink Panther diamond, the most valuable diamond in the world. The team includes some notable names in here, including Andy Garcia as Vincenzo Blancaloni, Alfred Molina as Randall Pepperidge, Yuki Matsuaki, Matsuzarki, at least I spell it right, as Kenji Mizuto, and Bollywood star Aishwarya Rai as Sonia. Also on the case is Clouseau's left-hand man Ponton, John Reno, and Nicole Emily Mortimer. Those two, of course, are from the last movie. And having seen all the Pink Panther films and the cartoons, and I was really excited about this one because I liked the last movie. I did like it a lot. And I'll just say this. This is not one of the better versions of the film. Now, there are a lot of bad things about this movie, and I'm going to go through them because, one, there's literally a scene where Clouseau is falling through 3 different fireplaces in the same house. And all I could ask is, how many houses have 3 fireplaces in the same house? I mean, I don't know about you, but that feels like a safety hazard in every single way. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that house in particular got the fire department coming out there several times. It's just like, I don't know. Like, 2, there's a pointless subplot with Lily Tomlin, who, I like Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin is a great comedic actress, but in here, she's playing a character in this, a psychiatrist who always has meetings with Clouseau's whenever he says something offensive or sexist. Now, they could be funny, and they are funny in here. Her and Steve Martin, these are 2 comedy legends. They can make that work, but there really is no need for a character in this. It's a pointless subplot that really does not make a whole lot of sense in general of why they're in here. You have Jeremy Irons in here, who is in here for no particular reason. Like, he's just in here for a cameo, and like, at least when Clive Owen showed up in the last Pink Panther movie, there was at least a point to his character. I mean, he's literally in there to help Clouseau improve his name or something like that when he plays the James Bond character, and that was funny. But here, Jeremy Irons just is in here for no particular reason. They recasted Inspector Dreyfus. He's no longer Kevin Kline like the last movie. He's John Cleese, and you got John Cleese in this movie. John Cleese is a very funny guy. He's not used here at all, and he's only in here for a few scenes, like barely in the movie. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we casting all these people if we're not going to use them for anything? John Reno's character has a backstory, and we don't really get much with the wife in this movie, because his wife and kids play a part in the story, and she's only in there for 2 scenes, and has no dialogue whatsoever, and it's just kind of like, what's the point of that? I get a feeling that there was supposed to be more, but they cut it out at the last minute, and it just feels really pointless. But, like, there's also a scene where Clouseau is supposed to play the Pope, and it just goes on for much too longer. Like, it should have stopped 2 jokes before it officially stopped. Like, after he falls, there are scenes where he falls off the fabric, and yeah, if it stopped there, it should have stopped there. But no, they just keep going, and they ruin the joke. And that's one of the biggest things about the movie, is that it overstates its welcome and just adds way too many elements to it that just really, really kind of falls apart at those scenes too quickly. And the movie itself is just okay. It's nothing special, and it's certainly a lot better than the worst films in the Pink Panther movies. Like, this is still taking the cake of the stuff they tried to do after Peter Sellers died. Like, it's still better than Curse of the Pink Panther, or Son of the Pink Panther, or Trail of the Pink Panther. Like, it's still better than that. And you do get and you do still get a lot of good stuff in here. I mean, the opening animated sequence. These Pink Panther movies are always going to have the best opening animated sequences. Even the worst movies have really good opening animated sequences. Like, if you screw that up, then you have completely missed the point of the Pink Panther altogether. And also, I like the fact that they went back to the original Pink Panther movie ways of ending a film. Like, the Pink Panther himself appears at the end of the movie in the live-action world, because that was something that happened all the way back in the original movie, which I thought that was very well done. And which I think that's very cool that they brought that back in here, because that was like that for most of the movies, except for the second to last movie, which the last movie that Steve Martin was in, which supposedly they were going to do, but but when that film had to be reshot around, they decided not to have him in there. Because I think, what I remember correctly, when Dreyfus falls out of the hospital bed into the river, that's where the Pink Panther was supposed to be at. He was supposed to be like in an animated scene, but they decided against it when they were doing the reshoots. But and even the subplot, and even the major subplot of and the big twist in the movie with one of the characters, like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like, when you find out who the tornado really is, and it's just like, when was there ever any indication that this person was that person? And let's just say it goes against one of my tropes, the fact that I don't think females can play really good villain roles. Like, not because of the actors themselves, it's just the fact that they're not written well at all. This is an example of having somebody, as a female villain, which could be really cool and awesome, but unfortunately they're just not written well altogether, and they're not a threat whatsoever. They don't feel like a threat at all. But I mean, overall, yeah, the movie can be pretty lame sometimes. It's not even bad, it's just lame and forgettable. You could tell that this film was not made by the same people who made the last movie, because the people who made the last movie were at least trying to do something with it. But when you've got the director of Agent Cody Banks too, I mean, maybe that should give you a sign that that's probably not a good sign going forward. Like, the script overall is not great. The cast is just stacked with stars, but it's pretty pointless when none of them have really anything to do. Most of the comedy is lame, and it's just not a good movie. It's clear that the creativity went out the window with this one, and it's basically a cash grab sequel, and a pretty lame one at best. I mean, like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just, I expect so much more from the Pink Panther, and it's just the fact that this is the last one we've had since they've stopped these movies in general. Although they have been saying that they're going to do this live-action animated hybrid, which I still have my doubts about that one, because it just feels like they're gonna completely miss the point of what makes the Pink Panther movie so special. But I mean, to me, this movie is just okay. It's nothing great, but it just feels like there could have been so much more to it. They could have added more. Like, if you had a better director and a better writer in here who knew the Pink Panther, and they could have made this work. Like, I really want to see a Pink Panther movie with somebody like, I don't know, Taika Waititi. Like, I think Taika Waititi's style of humor could play very well with the Pink Panther. Like, a Lin-Manuel Miranda Inspector Clouseau could be very fun. There was a time when Muppets Most Wanted came out. I could see Ty Burrell from Modern Family as Inspector Clouseau, but I just really don't think they're going to go down this route with that remake. And I don't know. Like, to me, I'm very conflicted on this one. It's a bad movie, but I kind of still have a little bit of stuff that I like about it. Like I said, the stuff with the animation is still really good. And Steve Martin can get a good laugh still every once in a while when he's Clouseau. It's not his fault these movies are terrible. They're just poorly written. They're just not well-written films. And they feel like they're made on the cheap, and nobody really took their time to actually make a good movie out of this, I feel like. Just, yeah, overall, a very major disappointment for this. Pink Panther 2, I just expected so much more from it, so. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie. Here's another bad movie. Here's Chris Evans in Push.
Gonna try and get inside my head? Go ahead. See if you can push me before I pull the trigger.
Your move. Critics are calling Push mind-blowing. A must-see. Push is a pulse-pounding thriller that rocks from beginning to end. Push is the first real action film of 2009.
You say the future's always changing, right?
What are you going to go do?
I'm gonna try and make a better one.
Push, PG-13, in theaters Friday, February 6th.
First warning sign, if you're saying that this is the first real action film of 2009 and you didn't see Taken, you clearly have not seen a good movie here. You're just, you didn't even see Taken, what I'm trying to say here, but this is Push. This is the film centering around people with superhuman abilities who band together to take down a government agency that is using a dangerous drug to enhance their powers in the hope of creating an army of super soldiers. Which, coincidentally, one of the people that's leading the charge is Chris Evans, a future super soldier who would later become Captain America. You also have Dakota Fanning, Camilla Bell, and Jaimin Hansu, along with Cliff Curtis in here. Good cast, and a good director, too, Paul McGuigan, whose last movies he did, Wicker Park and Lucky Number 11, are really good movies. But, man, this film was just... This is the definition of a film that the studio had no belief in and just dumped it out at this time of the year because they knew it wasn't making any money anytime soon. And sure enough, didn't make any money. And what do you expect when you have a film written by somebody who has not made a single movie since then? This, like, if you try to go on Wikipedia and look up the writer's work, there's nothing, there's no link because he's never written anything since then. And really, if that's really what, unless you make a really damn good movie and realize, I could never tell myself, I'm going to leave. Like, but no, nobody ever hired this guy again. So it's not a shocker to see why this movie did so poorly. And this was just after Summit Entertainment had Twilight come out, which was their big hit in the fall. So I guess maybe they were setting themselves up for when that Twilight money comes in, we're going to put these movies out here and we're going to make a killing. And I mean, I'll give them this. At least it made its budget back. It only cost them $38 million, but it doesn't look like a bad movie overall. It's a visual delight to look at. But again, a movie like this that you feel like is trying to start a new franchise, it starts with the script, and the script really is pretty bland and forgettable. And it's something that you can instantly pick out right away. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the double crosser? What the action sequence is going to be? It's that type of a movie. It's one of those movies that, yeah, this is definitely something that was primed and made for this time of the year. A film that the studio didn't believe in it, and they're just dumping it out there, thinking that maybe they'll get a quick buck out of it, and at least they made their money back on it, so I guess there's that. But, yeah, other than that, though, Push is something you can easily avoid. And let's go ahead and move on to the last movie here, a film that I do feel like was pushed back, but really shouldn't because this movie's pretty damn awesome. This is Fanboys.
Stop. Are those pigs and blankets?
Hey, and a variety of dipping sauces.
October 31st, 1998. Wasn't just Halloween.
Official episode 1 countdown. 6 months, 12 days, 8 hours, and some change. Look, guys, we could see the movie tonight.
Please, not this again.
A group of friends
Linus laid the whole thing out in 5th grade.
plotted the biggest heist in American history.
Floor plans to Lucas Ranch.
What's your game plan?
We drive the whole country and steal ourselves a prince.
What happened next has never been told.
Strap in, fellas.
Until now.
What the hell are you doing, man? You poking me. Don't flatter yourself. It's just my R2, my lucky R2.
It's all there. Maps, passcodes.
How did you score all this stuff?
Are you kidding? I'm William Shatner. I can score anything.
Bam, 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 go!
How much should you take?
A glass of water, please.
$100.
That's ridiculous.
Time to pay for that drink.
We have to strip to Menudo?
You got a problem with Menudo? Now take it off!
Yeah, lightsaber battle went wrong when I was a child.
How long could you last?
Vegas awaits, ladies.
You want to take your shirt off.
As you wish.
And you want to take your pants off.
Hutch Private Convo. Dude, not the time. The force is strong with me here.
How far would you go?
I can't believe we're in enemy territory.
Captain Picard was born on this very spot, hence the statue immortalizing him.
Gay.
Captain Picard is not gay, he's British.
He wears a singlet.
Han Solo's a dirtbag.
Nobody calls Han Solo a dirtbag.
Based on a true story.
Chewie, prepare to make the jump.
Yes.
Or at least a good one.
Someone tell me what the hell the red button does.
It's Lightspeed, kid.
Lightspeed. Cool, eh? Punch it!
Fanboys.
Hurry. Let's go. Quick, into the garbage chute.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You guys don't think that
The walls are not going to close in on us.
So yeah, this is one of those movies that was sitting on a shelf at the Weinstein Company for several years. I mean, they shot this back in 2006. It was supposed to come out in 2007. However, George Lucas apparently gave him the seal of approval, and what had happened was that they were basically given additional funding by MGM and the Weinstein Company to go ahead and shoot more scenes that the original budget didn't include, and so they eventually reshot the film in late 2007, and then they had to re-edit the film again to remove the cancer plot of the movie, and they took out a lot of the raunchy, vulgar humor, which, I mean, it really is, and there was really a lot of different things that could have been, that were wrong with this, the way that this film was being put together in terms of the behind the scenes stuff. You could tell this was a large studio interference movie, and you know, basically they took out they changed the film around. There was a big argument about the cancer plot in general, which I feel like they needed to do that because that's a major plot of the story, which supposedly is based on a true story. And as you can tell from the trailer, this is based on a story where you have a group of Star Wars fans in 1998 who head on a road trip to Skywalker Ranch to steal a rough cut of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, for their dying friend. Now, this is directed by Kyle Newman, and Kyle Newman is a director who's notable because this film was supposedly getting a lot of buzz, and so 20th Century Fox basically asked him to come in and direct the Revenge of the Nerds remake they were doing at that time, and they were actually shooting that movie. However, they stopped production less than a couple weeks into the film's production because there were some controversies going on behind the scenes. And basically what happened was what the university that they were shooting at looked at the script and they said, hell no, we're not doing this. And they had already started shooting, and so they eventually shelved the film after they found it difficult to shoot on the smaller campus that they were going to go. And the studio head at 20th Century Fox was disappointed with the dailies, and essentially there was never any other plans to do another remake of Revenge of the Nerds. Although Seth MacFarlane is reportedly doing one, they would announce one in 2020, but it's been 5 years since they announced that, so that might be one that probably never gets made, especially with the history that the original Revenge of the Nerds had. I mean, granted, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that original Revenge of the Nerds movie that can be seen as very, we're heading into territory that we probably should not be doing this again, but you have to remember the time period that it came out. Yeah, there's stuff in there that is very, like, way too politically incorrect nowadays, or politically correct nowadays, but whichever way you want to talk about it, but Revenge of the Nerds is still a great movie regardless. I mean, it's a classic 80s movie. You got to remember that was made at a time when that was more than okay to do that. As long as you have to distance the modern day setting to what it was like back then when they were making them. Like, nobody really knew about how the world was going to be 40 years from now, but I mean, I'm just going off on Revenge of the Nerds, but we'll eventually get to that on time about the movie's flashback. But let's get back to Fanboys, and this is a really good movie. It's co-written by Ernie Klein, who would later go on to write Ready Player One, and also Adam Goldberg, who would later go on to create The Goldbergs on ABC. Great show, and this is a really good movie. It's a very funny movie. Features a lot of big names all across the board here in terms of the actors involved here. In their first major earliest film, I should say, not really first, but, you know, Jay Baruchel, Dan Fogel, Sam Huntington, Christopher Marquette, Kristen Bell, Seth Rogen shows up in a cameo. You see William Shatner in there, Billy D. Williams, Christopher McDonald, David Denman, Danny Trejo, Ethan Suplee. There's a lot of different cameos all across the board here. Carrie Fisher, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, Jamie King, Danny McBride, Will Forte. It's incredible that George Lucas isn't in this movie, even though he gave a seal of approval, and actually, maybe he wasn't here. Maybe it's been a while since I've seen this movie, so I don't. But from what I remember from it, I remember really liking it a lot. I think it does still. I think it should still hold up after all the years I've seen it, because it is a really good movie. It is a very well made film. It's a very funny movie with a really good fun plot overall, and you know. This was back when everyone all confirmed that, yeah, The Phantom Menace was a terrible movie. In fact, the movie even ends with one of the main characters asking the question, what if the movie sucks? And lo and behold, that's what everyone thought it was, until all of a sudden we all decided, no, Phantom Menace is great. You're the crazy one if you like Disney Star Wars, which, yeah, sorry. I'm the crazy one there. I like Disney Star Wars better than the prequels. Sorry, I'm never taking that back anytime soon. And here come the down likes, the down thumbs. Yeah, you know what? Do it. You've already, no, trust me. I have seen enough down thumbs on videos that make no sense. My 30 worst movies is currently sitting at 25% on likes. I have 1 like on there and 3 dislikes. It's like, I'm sorry if you like Tom and Jerry and Mamma Mia and The Spirit, and yeah, I'm sorry you like those movies, but I'm sorry, I'm not changing my goddamn list. But I'm getting way off subject here, but anyway, the point I'm trying to get here is that Fanboys is a really fun movie. It's a very funny comedy. It's a very good movie, and I liked what they did here. It can get heartfelt when it needs to, and I think taking out that cancer plot would have ruined the whole dynamic of the movie in general, because adding that in there, it gives you a point to... It gives a point to why they're all coming together for this, to do this cause. I mean, they're doing it for their best friend who's going to die of cancer. And, yeah, taking that out of the movie really could have destroyed the film in general. But it works. It works really well. I think it's a well-made film. I think it's a very funny comedy. Fanboys is something you should definitely check out. It's very hard to find, but if you can find it somewhere, definitely check it out. It's a very good movie, an underrated gem from the end of the decade. Fanboys is a great film.
Did you know a young boy drowned here? He wasn't a very good swimmer. The counselors weren't paying attention. He should have been watched every minute. You see, he was my son. His name was Jason. And today is his birthday.
Of course, that's obviously not Freddy Krueger. That's Jason Voorhees. But don't worry, we'll get to Freddy next year when his remake comes out. But yeah, first off, that chick who's like just crawling on her back is just like, get up and run. I mean, he's literally you'll be further away from him if you just got your ass up like normal people do instead of just doing the backwards crab walk. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're setting yourself up to get murdered by this guy. But, yeah, this is seen as a reimagining of the original Friday the 13th movies from back when the series was at its peak popularity. And it's the 12th installment of the series, and it follows a guy played by Jared Padalecki as he searches for his missing sister, played by Amanda Rigetti, who was captured by Jason Voorhees, now played by Derek Mears. And you also have characters played by Aaron Yo, Danielle Panabaker, Juliana Hough, Travis Van Winkle, and... yeah, let's talk about the reboot thing, because when I think of a reboot or a reimagining, I think of something that is kind of similar to the original movie, but doesn't do the same things that the original series did. Like, we'll have a much better example of that later in the year when Star Trek comes out. That's a movie where, you know, J.J. Abrams took the concept of Star Trek and started it back from the beginning. Instead of just doing the same thing over and over again, he actually added something new to it and made it very unique and interesting. Friday the 13th is just the same goddamn movie we've seen over and over again. Like, no joke, this is literally the same movie. Like, if you really want to reboot this series and do something that's unique and different with it, I've always had kind of an idea of what to do with it, per se. Like, you should, like, it's weird. I had this idea of doing, like, a two-part film. Like, do a two-part film, have the first film centering around Jason's mother, because, as we know from the original film, Jason's mother is the original Jason Voorhees in that movie. Jason Voorhees doesn't come into play until the second movie, and then, of course, he doesn't get his hockey mask until, I think, the third or fourth movie, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen these movies, but what I'm saying is start the movie off, do two movies. One movie focuses on Jason's mother being the killer, and then with the second film, have it set, like, I don't know, 30, 40 years after the first film, and then you have Jason come into play. I mean, do what they did with It a couple years ago, where they had it split into two movies. The first part took place in the 60s, I think it was the 60s or 70s. 60s or 70s? Okay, I was kind of right. The 1990s miniseries, it takes place in the 60s at first, and then it goes to the 90s. But the recent film I'm talking about takes place in the 80s, and It Chapter 2 takes place in 2017. So I was kind of right, but I was kind of wrong too. But like, do something like that. Like, that's how you give this series a new look to it. Started off from the very beginning, you know, have it be about Jason's mother being upset that these counselors didn't watch her kid, and then she's the one that's going around killing people in the first movie, and then have it speed up the time, and then have Jason Voorhees come in here. Do something different. Do something that's a little bit that's different compared to what you did with the first film. Is with the original film in general. Don't just do the same thing over and over again, because that's what they did here, and it's literally the same movie over again. There's nothing about this movie that is different compared to the other movies, except the fact that it has newer, younger teenagers and new faker boobs, faker vaginas, you know, faker teenagers who want to have sex with each other all the time. It's like nothing really has changed with this movie. And this comes from the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was actually a pretty good horror remake. And at times, it's not bad. I mean, Derek Mears is doing a good job as Jason Voorhees in here. I mean, he actually does fit the role pretty well here, and yeah, it helps because he actually has more of a, you know, he can move faster than somebody like a Kane Hodder could, because he was doing that well into, I believe, his 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Now I gotta check again. Yeah, he was doing that in his 50s, because he was in Jason X, but they switched him out for Ken Kersinger with Freddy vs. Jason. But other than that, though, this movie really is pretty lame. I mean, it's literally the same movie as it was with the other films. There's nothing at all unique or different with it. It's literally the same thing, you know, a bunch of teenagers are coming off to this place that they should not go to, knowing that there's a killer out there, and instead of just, you know, being smart and getting the hell out of there and going to do something else, no, they're going to sit there and party, because who cares about the fact that there's a killer out there? I mean, nothing new or different is done in this movie. Oh, I'm sorry, there are some differences. The fact that we got to throw in some social commentary, you know, like there's a part in the movie where, you know, they got to get gas somewhere, and like, there's a black character in the movie when they have to go get gas, and they have to be, and Aaron Yo's character is basically just like, hey, you want to pay for gas? And he's just like, and the black guy's just like, dude, racism, man. It's just like, what is that? Why is that even in there? Like, there's your little bit of a social commentary they're trying to throw in there, because it's just like, what black person pays for gas? I'm really stretching to figure out why that was in there, because, man, there's nothing in this movie, man. There's nothing about it that works. There's nothing about it that's enjoyable. It's just the same schlocky stuff we've seen before, except the original Friday the 13th movies were kind of groundbreaking and new. It did something new and creative with it. Even the worst movies in the Friday the 13th movies were at least trying to do something unique with it. Jason Goes to Hell is a perfect example of what to do. Like, a crazy idea, but it could work if you had a good script to work with, but no, it just didn't work at all. And like Jason X worked because it was a guilty pleasure movie. It was a movie that they knew it was it was as stupid as it could be, but we're gonna have fun making it. And it was a so bad it's good type of movie. Even Freddy vs. Jason was fun. There's nothing fun about watching this movie, man. This is just a boring, unscary, unterrifying movie that just brief flashes of promise all throughout, but in the end result is not a good movie at all. So yeah, that's a hard skip on Friday the 13th, 2009. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is Isla Fisher trying to make it as a leading actress in a movie. This is Confessions of a Shopaholic.
Rebecca has some confessions to make.
Do not open that closet!
This Valentine's Day, confess your passion.
Gucci boots! I saw him first. You're gonna let me look! There's a Sailor Burberry!
Confess your secrets.
Fluent in Finnish. Everyone pads their resume a little.
Confess it all.
I remember from your resume, you speak Finnish. There's someone very excited to meet you.
Onpa hauska tavata toinen suomalainen.
Men like you are the reason I left Finland. Hello?
Confessions of a Shopaholic. Rated P.
Okay, first of all, did they really use a catapult to launch the clothes out of the closet?
Do not open that closet!
Son of a bitch, they did. I mean, just, like, I get it. You want to make the clothes look like they're coming out of the closet, but why using a catapult? It just seems like way too much. For a movie like this, you don't need that at all. But anyway, Confessions of a Shopaholic. Struggling with her debilitating obsession with shopping and the sudden collapse of her income source, Rebecca Bloomwood, played by Isla Fisher, unintentionally lands a job writing for a financial magazine after a drunken letter-mailing mix-up. Ironically written about the consumer cautions of she hasn't heeded. Rebecca's innovative comparisons and unconventional metaphors for economics grant her critical acclaim, public success, and the admiration of her supportive boss, played by Hugh Dancy. But as she draws closer to her ultimate goal of writing for renowned fashion magazine Elite, she questions her true ambitions and must determine if overcoming her shopaholic condition will bring her real happiness. And I did not realize this. This was also a PG-rated romantic comedy. For some reason, that around this time, someone just said, you know, PG-13 is the norm, but I've got a brilliant idea. Let's take these romantic comedies that are PG-13 and let's make them PG so we can bring the families in here, which none of these movies do not deserve to be seen by families. I mean, of all the ones that I've talked about, Bride Wars, New in Town, no question, this is definitely the best of the bunch. And even then, it's not that great of a movie. I mean, as much as I love Isla Fisher, and I feel like she could be a really good romantic comedic actress in a leading role, there's not really a whole lot given in the movie. There's a good idea in here in general, especially with, you know, this is something that I think a lot of people can really relate to, you know, being the shopaholic and buying a lot of stuff and then realizing that, you know, is your decline and you have to figure out how you're going to live the rest of your life and have to basically get over the fact that you can't stop shopping. I mean, hell, I go through that all the time. I mean, I literally just bought something in the last couple of days, and it's something that I don't need. But you know what? I wanted it for my collection. But we'll save that for another time. But these are, of course, based off of a series of books as well. And this is directed by a guy who made a great romantic comedy in the past. This is P.J. Hogan, the man who did My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts and also Cameron Diaz, and also he did Muriel's Wedding. The last movie he directed, though, was the Peter Pan remake, the live-action one, not the Disney one, the Universal one, which was okay, I guess. I mean, he's a good director overall, and the film overall isn't terrible, but it just feels like it doesn't feel like it really gets the full composure of what it could really do. Like, there's not really a whole lot there to really elevate it to the next level, to give it that extra oomph that it needs to be a really good movie in general. I mean, it's not a bad movie overall. It's just a movie that I feel like there could have been so much more to work with here, especially since Isla Fisher is a really good actress. I think she's very funny. She's a beautiful woman, and she's got the potential to be a good leading actress in something. I mean, I saw another movie with her as the lead in it, Wedding Days, which also has kind of that same problem too. It's one where Jason Biggs, you know, wants to get married so much that he marries this waiter played by Fisher, and she doesn't realize that she's kind of a little bit of a crazy person, so kind of like Heartbreak Kid, but yeah, there's definitely a potential for her as a leading actress here, and I felt like this movie could have done that in general, but not enough for me to say that this is one you want to check out. It's a film that I was kind of let down by it, per se. Not a bad movie, but definitely one that really could have been a whole lot better, especially with everything they had going for it. Mixed opinion, but I would say don't watch it, honestly. Like, I was really disappointed by it overall, so. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last film that we have here. Clive Owen and Naomi Watts starring in the thriller, The International.
Is the bank you trust using your money
Send a message
for murder?
Anyone that votes against this bank has ended up dead or disappeared. If they can't get to you, they'll get to your family. There has to be a way to bring down this bank.
Rated R.
Because now you don't have to worry about just the banks screwing you over with your money. You don't have to worry about scammers taking money out of your bank account. No, you got to worry about banks trying to use your money to kill people. I mean, what else do I need to worry about with the banks in general? But, probably a lot of things, but this is a movie called The International, following an Interpol agent and American District Attorney, also played by Clive Owen and Naomi Watts, who jointly investigate corruption with the IBBC, in a fictional merchant bank based in Luxembourg. It serves organized crime and corrupt governments as a banker and also as an arms broker. The bank's ruthless managers assassinate potential threats, including their own employees. Now, supposedly this was based off of a scandal from the 1980s involving the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, and it raises concerns about how global finances affects international policies across the world, which on the one hand, could be a pretty good, interesting concept for a movie, but not with a movie like this. No. This movie takes the most blandest, most predictable route it could possibly go and turns it into a straightforward, generic action film. This is like another version of The Peacemaker or movies like The Pelican Brief, you know. These movies where you have to put two people in one situation where they have to uncover conspiracy and you know, they have somebody going after them and they got to stop them. And it's just like, yeah, this would be fine and all if the script was any damn good, and unfortunately, this is one of the most generic action scripts I've ever seen in my entire life. This thing is such a snooze fest of a movie, and this is not written by a schmuck either. This is written by Eric Warren Singer, who has written good movies over the course of his career. This is the guy that wrote American Hustle. This is the guy that wrote Only the Brave. One of his biggest movies is Top Gun Maverick. He wrote part of the script for that. This guy is not a schmuck filmmaker. This is somebody who has written good scripts and all. Has been nominated for an Oscar for writing a script. The director, Tom Twyker, is actually a decent director too. The last thing he did was Perfume, and he also did Cloud Atlas. Okay, maybe not the best overall, but you get the idea here. There is talent on this movie, not just in the acting, but also the writing and the director, but there's just nothing there in terms of the story. It's something we've seen done to that before so many times in the past, and it just really feels like there's just nothing there. Like, there's nothing about this movie that's engaging or interesting. You don't even buy the chemistry between Owen and Watts in particular, and if you can't buy their chemistry, then why the hell are we even in here in the first goddamn place? I guess maybe the action sequences are not terrible. They're okay at best. There's nothing really about them that makes them stand out or anything. But everything we've seen in this has been done much better in other movies. Like the National Treasure movies, where they have to uncover these conspiracies while also looking through these historical monuments and documents and all that stuff. That makes more sense than anything in this movie. And this is supposed to be taken seriously. And you don't take any of this seriously whatsoever. This is just a bad movie, a bland movie. Nothing about it that's interesting, nothing about it that's fun or enjoyable. It's a mess. It's a sloppy mess of a movie. This is the type of film that the studios look at and go, okay, we can't release this out in the summer because if they think that we believe in this, they're gonna clown all over us. So dump it in February where nobody's gonna put it out and nobody's gonna buy into it. And when it bombs, we could just say, well, Friday the 13th opened up on the same weekend. You can't expect us to beat that. And just like, yeah, that's your half-assed attempt to try to cover your own asses. And yeah, this movie wasn't making any bucks anytime soon. So yeah, a hard skip on the international.
What's going on? Come on.
Oh, you look so bad. You look bad. You look like you've been doing hard time.
I say, if you come up to me, I'ma cut it.
For real?
Yeah, that's what I did. I cut her.
Really?
Yes. They got women's up here with danglers, and I cut her right off.
She's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady.
You see Basic Instinct? Well, this ain't that kind of movie.
She's a lady. And the lady is mine.
So this is kind of a continuation from Meet the Browns, where, Medea had a cameo in that movie. And in this film, it's her going to prison for her uncontrollable anger management problems as she befriends a young incarcerated prostitute played by Little Rudy, Keisha Napoleon from The Cosby Show, whom an assistant district attorney played by, I thought I saw the name before, Derek Luke, who plays him. The character, I was looking at the character name, but not the person playing it, but it's Derek Luke, who was just in Notorious not too long ago. The assistant district attorney, she's known since college. And, it's pretty much another one of those movies where even though Medea is in the title of the movie, she's more kind of relegated to a supporting role. Meanwhile, we're mainly focusing on, Keisha Napoleon, which, I gotta give her credit. I like the fact that she didn't just, she actually did go on to become more than just, the child actress from The Cosby Show. She has been starring in movies where she's been getting bigger roles, like this in Beauty Shop. So I guess that's one thing that's kind of working towards the film overall. It's kind of a good cast overall. You got Viola Davis, Vanessa Felito, Sofia Vergara, Ian Overman. I mean, there's a lot of good people in here. And, you know, like I said, I'm not the biggest Madea aficionado. And in fact, I wouldn't even say that any of these Madea movies are that great. But then again, I really don't know much about the character as a whole. But, you know, Tyler Perry has a built-in audience that will go to these movies. And sure enough, this thing was a massive hit. I mean, it's interesting when you look at the numbers, 90 million worldwide, even though this had a $40 million opening weekend. The fact that it only made $50 million between the time it was released and by the time it got out of theaters. And also keep in mind that this was a movie that did not get a worldwide release. Like, if you go on to Box Office Mojo, it's just the domestic numbers and not the fact that, you know, this had like a worldwide, you know, it says on Wikipedia's page it's 90 million worldwide, but if you look on Box Office Mojo, there's no international numbers there whatsoever. So all that money made for this movie is coming from here, like coming from here in the U.S. So, like I said, there is a built-in audience that will come to these movies no matter what, or at least back then they did, because Tyler Perry had such a name that people who knew him were very familiar with, so they kept coming to these movies. For someone like me who hasn't really been catching up with Tyler Perry overall, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just a film that I really don't have much of a personal interest in, per se, because I've never been invested in the stuff that Tyler Perry had done at that point. So I don't really know much about Madea. All I know is that, you know, she's on the same level as somebody like a Big Mama from Big Mama's House, or Tootsie from Tootsie, Mrs. Doubtfire, that type of thing. But, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about this movie, per se. Like I said, it isn't terrible by any means necessary. It's just kind of it's there. It's going to appease the audience that it's intended for. And meanwhile, newcomers, I don't think are really going to get that much invested into it. But I think even to a certain point, once these movies kept going on and on and on, I think the people that were so built in with the Tyler Perry fandom started to get sick and tired of it at a point too. But not right now, because this was actually the most successful movie released with the Madea name attached to it. And I think it still is Tyler Perry's most successful movie, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's not made for me, but for the audience that's going for it, they're definitely going to get a kick out of it. So what am I going to say to that? So let's go ahead and get to that big surprise, a movie that I did not think, and I don't think anybody really thought was going to be any good. And I think most people do think that, but I don't know, I kind of enjoyed Fired Up.
Name Jennifer, hi.
Are you going to the bonfire tonight?
I was just saying to my boy Shawnee, I cannot wait to go to the bonfire tonight so I can hang out with Jennifer.
Nick and Sean are two of the best players in the state.
Oh, bump the football camp? 2 weeks without girls, it wouldn't be bumped.
But this summer...
Are you guys psyched for cheer camp or what? There's gonna be 300 girls up there who want it just as much as we do.
300 girls who want it just as much as we do.
Screw football. Let's go cheer.
Donna Show!
What a fantastic idea.
Come on, it's Nick and Sean.
They'll boldly go
You might have everyone else fooled, but not me.
where no player has ever gone before.
I think our bus crashed and we're in heaven.
Now,
What's up, you smell? You're at university now. Fire up, university!
Welcome to cheer camp.
She's such a fox.
What are you doing later?
Not you.
Damn it!
the guys who never thought they could fall for anyone.
Where are you going, bro? Carl and I are going to work on reverse cartwheels. I'm having trouble with my rotation. It's like, you like her. I knew it. You're going to ruin everything. Ow!
Will have to take their game.
Guys, this is my boyfriend.
What's up, guys? I'm Dr. Rick.
Really? Pound?
To a whole new level.
He's pre-med at Illinois.
Then why do you call yourself doctor?
Why put off the inevitable?
Who's that?
The Panthers. You guys came back. We're a different team this year, Gwyneth.
See you on the cheer field. It's that big chunk of grass you come in last on every year.
Panthers out.
What do the Panthers have that you don't have?
Laser hair removal. Kick-ass cheers.
Confidence. Let's do this.
I want to cut the blonde one.
What?
I'm just saying.
I haven't felt this way before. I gotta tell her. I really like...
Harley Davidson!
What's up, Dick?
It's Rick. Dr. Rick.
I keep doing that. You just look like such a dick to me.
Fired up.
See you guys.
We're close.
What do you two think you're doing? Practicing al dente? Proceed.
Hey, Tigers! Yeah!
Dude, I like it.
I think John Michael Higgins there kind of summed up my thoughts on this movie. I like it. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel about this movie in general. It's a film where it's just kind of like, I shouldn't like this movie, but in the end, yeah, I thought it was actually kind of good, even though I will admit, the fact that it's a raunchy comedy and it's only going for a PG-13 rating, I think kind of misses the point of what they're trying to accomplish here. I mean, hell, Bring It On was much more raunchier and more risque than this movie is, and but why did it work for me? Well, the story here is basically that you have two popular high school football players. One of them is played by Eric Christian Olsen, who the last time he was in a movie in high school, he was Lloyd from the Dumb and Dumber prequel, When Harry Met Lloyd, which basically tells you that, yeah, these two would never pass as high school students at this point. The other one's Nicholas DeGusto, who they decide that these are football players who decide to attend a cheerleading camp for the summer to get close to its 300 female cheerleaders, aka to sleep with nearly every one of them. As the poster literally says, 2 guys, 300 girls, you do the math. Yeah, 150, I do the math. 150 girls each time that will tell you, no, hard pass, no. But like I said, this is a movie that looked like it was primed for failure. It was being dumped in February. It's a movie that's supposed to be a raunchy sex comedy, but it's PG-13. I mean, you've seen this. We've seen this movie done before so many times. The concept has been done so many times before. What was it that made this movie something that I would say it's actually kind of good? Well, for one thing, the director of this movie is Will Gluck. Now, Will Gluck is a name you may be familiar with, but you've seen a movie that he's been involved in. This is the guy that did Easy A. He did Friends with Benefits. He did the Annie remake, which I really like the Annie remake. I like the Peter Rabbit movies. The only one I don't like of his movies is Anyone But You, but that's the one that was the big box office hit because of, Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. But, just because you have 2 of the hottest stars in a movie doesn't make it a good movie, and I did not like that movie one bit, and I wish that those 2 would fire the people that's picking their scripts for them. But plug for my other video, Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney, Orion, both 3 great actors, really bad movie choices. Check it out in the corner. But with all that said, why does this movie work? I mean, it works because everybody in here is kind of fun to watch. There's a really solid cast all across the board in this movie. I mentioned DeAugusto and Olsen, but you also have Sarah Romer, Molly Sims, David Walton, who's a great character actor, Anna Lynn McCord from 90210, Adir Kalon from Rules of Engagement, Julia Golia, Haley Marie Norman from Deal or No Deal, Margot Harshman, Danielle Harris, John Michael Higgins, Philip Baker Hall, Edie McClure. I mean, just a ton of really, really good, funny people in this movie, and I think the film is fully aware of what it's trying to be. And I think if you know what you're doing, and you know what is being put up on screen, I think you can make a good movie out of it. And it's a good movie, but it definitely falters on a couple things. One, obviously the raunchy sex comedy aspect, because it's a PG-13 movie, and really a PG-13 raunchy sex comedy very rarely works. In fact, actually, I might have to do some research on that. I'm trying to think, what's the one PG-13 raunchy sex comedy that's actually worked? I'm sure there is one out there. I just can't think of it right now. But what is it? But on the other hand, the other thing is that the jokes are very predictable. I mean, you can pretty much tell what the end result is going to be. But like I said, sometimes the jokes can be really funny. I mean, the bit at the end there with him doing the naked cheerleading bit, that's kind of humorous. I mean, that is kind of funny how they're doing that. But, yeah, and like I said, it's because they have a lot of good, talented people in front of the camera to make it work. The cast overall is very solid. And, yeah, once in a while you do get a funny joke here and there. And I think the movie is fully aware of what kind of a film it is. And I think it is because of the power of the director, Will Gluck, who has made a lot of good movies rather than bad ones. I mean, of the movies I listed there, 6 of them are really good movies. And that's that one movie. 6 out of 1 ain't a bad thing whatsoever. This is a guy that has a lot of good talent as far as a filmmaker goes. But, yeah, besides that, though, it's nothing grand or amazing in general. But if you're just looking for a movie that's just a good, fun time overall, and it's a film that actually you want to see because of the people involved in it, it's worth checking out. It's definitely a film that you have to go into it with the right mindset. You have to know what kind of a movie it is. Yeah, it's not a good concept of a raunchy sex comedy. I mean, like I said, Bring It On was a much better example of that. I mean, they took that level to the extreme, the PG-13 level to the extreme with that one. And that was a movie that worked because it had mass appeal. It wasn't just targeting the teenage girls. I mean, it's a movie you can watch no matter what sex you are, no matter if you're a guy or a girl, if you're gay or straight. Like, that's a movie that just works on so many levels. And just, this movie felt like they were trying to copy that, but they kind of failed at that because they were more restricted compared to what Bring It On was able to do 10 years prior. But it's a movie that works. It's a movie that I think works overall. I'm probably the only person that will probably agree with that, but I did kind of enjoy this movie. I think it is a very enjoyable film. It's definitely a lot better than I think a lot of people give it credit for. So, I recommend checking it out. Fired up.
On February 27th, the Jonas Brothers are burning up the big screen in an all-new motion picture experience in 3D.
This movie really makes you feel like you're on stage with us.
Walt Disney Pictures presents a special limited engagement, only in 3D theaters and IMAX 3D. You can go where no fan has gone before. Hear brand new music that's only in the movie, and join special guests Demi Lovato and Taylor Swift.
Jonas Brothers, the 3D concert experience.
You can get your tickets now. Rated G.
February 27th, only in theaters.
No, it does not feel like you're on stage with the Jonas Brothers. I'm sorry to tell you this, but yeah, this movie does not feel like a 3D concert experience. This feels like a cash grab because Disney saw, holy shit, the Hannah Montana movie did very well last year. I mean, much more than we ever imagined. Who else can we make a movie off of this of? Oh, we got the Jonas Brothers, so come on, guys, let's go ahead and make a movie off of this because clearly people will go and see this the same way that people went to Hannah Montana, and no. It did not happen that way. First of all, Hannah Montana opened on Super Bowl weekend and was a family film that was coming out when a lot of other family films were not playing at the time. I mean, most people had already seen the Christmas season's family films in general, so they were waiting for the next family film to come. You still had a couple of family movies out there, like the Pink Panther 2, Coraline. You know, there were so many other family options besides this movie in general, and unlike the Hannah Montana movie, which actually worked because it appealed to both the fans and also kind of the non-fans, the Jonas Brothers don't have that same kind of appeal. The film follows the Jonas Brothers during their Burning Up tour and a behind-the-scenes look at their busy schedule while in New York City. As part of their concert tour, they also go on a press tour and include interviews and TV performances to promote the release of their studio album at the time a little bit longer and ending their day in Madison Square Garden. As throughout the course of the movie, you also see performances by Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift, and the brothers' bodyguard, Robert Big Rob Feggins, on Burnin' Up. And, yeah, if you're not a Jonas Brothers fan, you are not going to appreciate this movie like you're going to appreciate the Hannah Montana movie. At least the Hannah Montana movie was trying to appease more to the non-Hannah Montana fans and Miley Cyrus fans. But this is literally a movie that if you have never even heard of the Jonas Brothers, even 1 aorta, you are very much clear to stay the hell away from this movie because you're not going to get anything out of this movie. And I personally am not a Jonas Brothers fan in general. The only thing I know about the Jonas Brothers is that one of them is banging Priyanka Chopra from Quantico. That's the only one I know. No, I think it's Joe Jonas that's actually doing that. I think, is it Joe? No, he was once married to Sophie Turner. It's got to be Nick then, right? Yeah, Nick Jonas. It can't be Kevin. But, yeah, that's really all I got for you on this movie. I've never listened to the Jonas Brothers music in general. The only time I ever heard it, honestly, was when they did the song for Meet the Robinsons. But other than that, I have no intention of ever listening to the Jonas Brothers anytime soon. So, yeah, this movie clearly wasn't made for me. For the fans, they probably enjoyed it. But for the non-fans like me, yeah, it's one I would stay the hell away from. I would say stay the hell away from it in general. But I'll give it this. It's certainly better than the last movie we have here. And if you thought the '94 Street Fighter movie was bad, oh, brace yourself because Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li is coming in hot.
February 27, Street Fighter comes to life only in theaters. Experience the legend like never before. Street Fighter, rated PG-13.
Oh, that's priceless. Street Fighter comes to life in theaters. No, just no. Congratulations, though. You did make a Street Fighter movie that made the '94 Street Fighter movie look like a freaking classic by comparison. I mean, seriously. the 94 Street Fighter movie is much better than this pile of garbage right here. At least the 94 Street Fighter movie at least got the basis of the video game down. I mean, the casting may have been all over the place, but you know what? It was still fun. It was still a much more fun movie than this pile of garbage was. Oh my god, I can't believe how bad this movie is. But then again, maybe I can believe how bad it is because the director of this is the same man that also fucked up Doom. No, I'm not kidding. Andrzej Bartkowiak directed this movie. The same man that also gave us Cradle to the Grave and Romeo Must Die and Exit Wounds. Those classic masterpieces of garbage. And boy, this movie was not only his worst one, but it literally knocked him out of Hollywood because he has not made a studio picture since then. He's been relegated to direct-to-DVD hell. That's how bad this movie is. But, Kristen Krug plays Chun-Li, who lives a calm life with her father when one day the local mobster Bison, played by Neil McDonough, that guy you always see all over the place with the blonde hair, because clearly he's a much better looking Bison than Raul Julia was. At least Raul Julia at least had the look of Bison. This is just... But I digress. The local mobster Bison kidnaps her father. After her mother's death, she embarks on a quest to rescue her kidnapped father from the clutches of powerful criminal Lord Bison, and blah, 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 blah. This movie is unbelievably awful. Like, I can't believe they took this concept, which should not be this hard to do. But keep in mind, something they have to keep in mind, that this is still back when nobody gave a shit about making a good video game movie. Unlike today, they didn't make up. It's like the people who were making these movies were hack directors and people that clearly had no intentions on making a good video game movie. From the directors to the studio heads. Not like now, because in the last 10 years, it has definitely gotten a lot better in terms of people who want to make a good video game adaptation. We've had it with the Angry Birds movies, the Super Mario Brothers movies, Sonic the Hedgehog, and don't make me say, and I'm not saying Minecraft, because no, that Minecraft is not a good movie, but, we've had great video game adaptations in TV, The Last of Us, Fallout, Twisted Metal. I mean, making a video game adaptation of anything nowadays is much more easier now because the studio heads are now seeing what's going on with these movies and going like, no, if we actually put good people behind the scenes who know what they're doing, we can actually make good video game movies. Oh my OMG Robs, like we could have told you this when you made the first Super Mario Brothers movie back in 1993. But is there anything good here? Well, Chris Klein is having the time of his life. I mean, really, Chris Klein as Charlie Nash is the only one who seems like he's having a ball with this. Like, he is playing this straight and also knows that has to play it so ridiculously because he's got to get something out of this too, man. Like, it's just, and it makes it kind of fun. He's fun to watch in this movie, but, this thing wastes a lot of good talent. Kristen Krug from Smallville, Michael Clark Duncan as Balrog. How do you fuck up Balrog? Moon Bloodgood's in here, Robin Show. I mean, just, even though McDonough's a great actor too, but M. Bison? Just, why? Why him? And this film is just such a mess of a movie on so many levels. Like, it's amazing how this thing got made with the way it is. Like, there are times when this movie, they're so lazy that they try to go for shock value. There's a scene in the movie where, M. Bison literally kills a pregnant woman to get a baby out of her, and he just rips her stomach open, and just like, why is this in here? Like, what's the point? Like, what am I even supposed to take away from that? It's just like, it's not there for any particular reason, just there to be shock value. And it's just like, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get why it's so hard to make a damn good Street Fighter movie. But, hey, they're trying to make a new one, and, wait, they just pulled it off the schedule. It's supposed to come out next year, and, yeah, basically that tells you that it ain't getting made anytime soon. And it's just like, because probably studio interference. Legendary Entertainment probably wants to make a good movie version of Street Fighter, but then the studio that's putting this out, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Lionsgate. No, Sony. Sony, Tom Rothman, the same man who greenlit this movie when he was at 20th Century Fox, meddling his way into the Street Fighter movies. And it's just like, did you not learn your lesson, old man? Like, we don't want you involved in this. Just, yeah, this is pretty bad. This is really, really awful. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Hey, at least they made the 94 Street Fighter movie look better by comparison. That's like Citizen Kane compared to this pile of garbage. Yeah, so bottom line here is avoid this one like the plague and enjoy the rest of your day. Now that's a good action line right there. Avoid it like the plague and enjoy the rest of your day. Like, if I ever write an action movie script, I gotta remember to put that line in there. Just avoid it like the plague and enjoy the rest of your day. And then and then somebody punches somebody right in the face and they fall to their death. But with all of that said, that's going to wrap up this lovely, lovely edition of Time About the Movies.